Welcome, everyone, to today's show. Boomer and the Gen Xer walk into a bar, coming to you from the Rabbit Hole Studio, where you, as our listeners, will experience some wit and wisdom, some smartassery, and a mother and a daughter questioning, are we even related? My name is Jane. My co-host is my daughter, Bobbi, and for the next several minutes, we are here to entertain. And I see a really bad look on Bobbi's face, so I'm really not sure what's going on here. What is that, Bobbi?
I got a booger I can't get rid of.
Oh my God. Is that something we really needed to know here?
I mean, you're going to hear it here in just a second. What about the bad look on my face? No, she's got a bad look on her face, but it doesn't look like a booger.
Let's just start over.
No, we're not starting over.
It's easier for me when
We're
I'm
going to
editing.
we're going to edit the hell out of this. Watch.
Okay.
We're not editing anything.
Bobbi,
we are keeping all of this.
Oh my gosh. Do you need to go blow your nose or something? I mean, is that
No.
something you could have done before we decided to
It's
record?
not coming out.
Oh my
There's no hope
gosh.
for this.
Hey, so
it lives there.
I got to tell you this. This is kind of funky. We have been watching, and I don't know what the name of the shows are, but I think it's like Border Patrol or
To Catch a Smuggler.
To Catch a Smuggler or something like
Yeah.
that. And oh my gosh, if I was younger, I would want to be a Border Patrol person because they run into some weird stuff. So I got to tell you this just real quick. They were bringing bugs across the border in Mexico. And some were alive and some were dead. And they're called stink bugs. And the Border Patrol said, "What are you using these for?" And they said, "Well, we make salsa out of them."
We have plenty of stink bugs here in Iowa.
No, these are different. They're totally different. And so what they do, I know this is so gross. What they do is they kind of fry them up a little bit, toast them so that they get rid of a little of that stank. And then they crumble them up and they put them in salsa.
I mean, like, I've eaten a little bit of fried bugs and stuff like that, like where they like deep fry them and
Like
then put
grasshoppers or
and
something.
put a little seasoning on them and stuff. But stink bugs, ugh.
Oh my gosh. And they had this huge bag. Well, they confiscated it because you can't bring it into the United States.
Well, yeah, because it's an
harmful.
invasive species.
Yeah, and it's harmful to our crops, here. And so, yeah, super weird. And so when we were talking about the bugs, Dr. Domaine mentioned this bug that they have is it in Mexico?
Well, it's prevalent in the Mayan culture. So like around the Yucatan Peninsula.
So what's it called again?
A maquish.
A maquish.
Makish.
And this is the most bizarre thing because people bedazzle this bug.
Bedazzle it.
Seriously, you got to look it up. I'm telling you, listeners, you got to look it up. It's called Makesh. Is that right? And so they bedazzle this bug. It's like a huge water bug. And they keep it alive by putting a little chain around it and wearing it.
Oh my God, it's considered living jewelry.
What was the slang term? I've never heard it called this before. I've seen people wear them when I was down there in school, but something brooch.
Oh, I called it a roach brooch.
They did. They wore it.
Oh my
They wear it
gosh.
like a
So
brooch.
Bobbi pulled it up,
Chain.
and I'm not kidding you, folks. You got to look these up because they bedazzle these bugs, and then they put them on a chain,
Like
and
like a brooch.
like a brooch, so that the bugs don't wander off of their lapels, and they just kind of wander around on their lapels or whatever, and then they put them away. But they bore into wood, and so they don't eat much. And they keep them alive. Is that bizarre or what? A roach brooch, a live
That
roach
is
brooch.
crazy.
Oh my gosh, listeners, you got to go check this thing
The
out.
first time I saw him, I was in the market there in Merida. I'd been there like maybe a couple of weeks, and one of our assignments was to go out in the market and find certain things and stuff that represents the culture. And I ran across this box of these beetles. And I was like, these aren't ordinary beetles. And there was a guy there with a little magnifying glass and his little bedazzle kit or whatever.
Oh my god,
blinging them out.
And so it's my understanding that the really wealthy people wear these things, or is it just anybody? I mean, is it anybody? I don't know. I thought they were kind of expensive.
We had like a reception, and one of the professors there had one.
Oh my!
Yeah, microphone.
This is so bizarre. So I want our listeners to look those bugs up, and I want you to look up stink bugs that go in salsa, and because
And then everybody vomit collectively, for the stink bugs in the salsa.
these people acted like the salsa was like no big deal. It's like, yeah, we use those to make our salsa.
And then everybody go read the FDA book on what's allowed in our food, and then realize that maybe stink bugs aren't that.
Yeah. Exactly, because the FDA does allow a certain level of all kinds of stuff in our
Roaches and
food.
crap. Yeah.
So
But
anyway,
what you're drinking is probably pretty healthy, isn't it?
It's very healthy.
It's like vegan approved or something.
It's
Oh, my
vegan. It's
gosh.
gluten free.
Probably not
It's
a lot of
made
stink bugs in
with
it.
real cane sugar. Well, maybe on the cane sugar.
yeah,
There's probably some bugs on it.
yeah,
leg or two.
that's pretty healthy. And
Yeah.
what's the level of THC in those?
I played the fifth.
So
I played
anyway,
the fifth because it's gone, and I don't have any more. What are you
oh
talking
my
about?
gosh.
It's healthy.
It's healthy.
It's 100% vegan.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's move on to our topic
What
for
is
today.
this on the can, though?
Oh,
Which one?
gosh. That's
The
a
fat
skull
person?
and
That's
crossbones.
like a fat lady smoking a cigarette.
It's
Yeah.
a skull and crossbones.
Yeah. So fat people smoking cigarettes can't have this.
Oh, it's a pregnant woman.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, they can't have that drink, so that tells you what it is, listeners. I'm just saying. Anyway, so Bobby, what is it? We've talked about this before off air, and we wanted to talk about it on the air because this is weird. This is bizarre.
Well,
and
yeah, kind of. I mean, me and you, we've had discussions before about, what we would like our afterlife plans to be for our earthly body.
Yeah.
How we want it dealt with and what we want done and everything like that. And let's share with our listeners what we think our plans should be for.
are you going to go first, or am I?
I'll go first.
Okay, go ahead.
So my dream
Your dream when you die, she's
for
going to have a dream.
when I shuffle off this mortal coil
okay.
is for my remains to be scattered at either Disneyland or Disney World.
You hate those places.
But the catch is I don't want to be cremated. Because I hate those places, and I would like to cause as much trauma as possible. Thank you very much.
Was that Bobby we just ran over Space Mountain?
yeah.
With that big thump?
You know what? Just put me in a confetti cannon and shoot me
Just
off of the
shoot you
Main
off.
Street Parade.
So something lands next to you and you go, is that
Is that
Bobby's
a toe?
finger?
Is that a toe?
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
No, but honestly, whatever's cheapest, set me on fire and throw me into the wind. I don't care because I'm not here anymore.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, I understand. I mean, I remember my mom used to say that.
You understand?
I understand. I mean, I kind of, I hear her. Let's
So
just say-
you're the one that's going to cart her to Disney
no,
World?
I'm not. I'm
I
gonna
understood. She's
no,
the
one
one desire.
Stuffing
I
me into
completely
the
understood that.
cannon
I'm
just
gonna
with that big stick. Just get in there.
I'm going to go on Craigslist and ask somebody to do it. Some weirdo and some freak show.
Somebody will do it for money.
Some shitwit will show up and go, I'll
Yeah.
do it.
Yep.
I'll do it for $50. If you can give me gas money, I'll
If you
do
can
it.
get me tickets into Disney World, I'll do it.
You can buy an $80 ticket for me to get in for the day. I'll go do it. Yeah, no, some shitwit's gonna, say, yeah, I'll do it if I put it on Craigslist or somewhere, or even Facebook Marketplace. I don't know. But anyway, so my wish, and mine's changed over the years, because I used to say that I wanted to be cremated and then my ashes poured into the pond here on my property. I have a huge pond on my property. And the thing is, though, is, by the time my kids find me, because they pay no attention to me at all and they don't contact
Womp,
me
womp.
whatsoever. By the time they find my body, it's going to be so deteriorated and stuff. You won't recognize me. So it's going to be kind of, ready to go into the pond anyway. And that's changed for me though. And your sister made a comment that she didn't want me to be cremated because she said, well, you're going to have a grave site. And I go, what? And she goes, yeah.
What?
She goes, you have to have a grave site and you have to have a stone. And I go, what for? And she goes, well, for us to have somewhere to go and, just pay our respects. And I go, you don't come see
I was
me
gonna say.
while I'm alive. Are you kidding?
What?
I don't see you now. Why would you come see me when I'm dead and try to she wants to talk to me when I'm dead because then I can't talk back. She can say whatever
I
she
think
wants.
that's just a waste of. That sounds rude, but I just think that's a waste of land.
You know why I think people do it not only for religious reasons, because there are people who don't want their bodies cremated for religious reasons, but also I think it kind of says I was here. It's kind of a validation for people and their families.
Like for archaeologists
Because
later on.
There's a saying that, a person dies twice, the day they die and then the last day that somebody utters their name.
Yeah. When
And-
people forget about them.
Yeah, when people
Yeah,
forget about
okay.
them. And so I think that, some of it is a religious thing and some of it is, I want validation that I was here. And so anyway, mine has also changed because back in the day I said, hey, I want somebody to dress up as Dr. Death or whoever it is. Who is it, Bobby?
Grim Reaper.
Grim Reaper and stand at the door. And Bobby was all for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can get somebody to do that. I mean,
Playing Pop Goes the Weasel
Yeah.
as your casket's up there.
your left arm in and your
No,
left arm
that's
out. Oh, no,
Pop
that's
Goes the
Hokey
Weasel
Pokey.
where it's,
Yeah.
and the box pops up and everybody screams. Yeah.
Anyway, we're not doing that because I want it to be, nice and say farewell for the two people who show up for my funeral, which won't be my kids. That's for darn sure. Anyway, but there are some weird death or funeral rituals out there, aren't there, Bobby?
There's a lot of them.
So I think our listeners have probably experienced some, but let's talk about some that they have. Well, let's ask Dr. Domaine before we go on. Do you have plans that you want carried out when you die?
No. No. I don't know. Don't need to talk about it now. I got a while to go.
You don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
You don't know.
Yeah, my
So
ticket
do you
come-
want to
come
be
up anytime.
cremated? Do you want to be buried? What do you want?
Right now it'd be just a traditional burial. And the whole celebration of life, I don't need that. I don't even know what that's some made up weird thing they recently started doing.
Yeah. So
I
you
mean,
don't
you're gonna
want any of that.
celebrate my life. Let's do it now. Let's
Yeah, while
while
you're
we
still
can have a
alive
beer.
and you can.
A
Yeah.
living wake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Kinda.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like the guy they prop up in the saloon with nickels over his eyes and
Prop me up
put a beer in his
beside
hand.
the jukebox.
Mom
when
used to
I
say-
die.
All right.
Mom
Where's
used to
the mute
say
button?
that she hated our neighbors, and so just fling her over the back fence into the neighbor's yard when she died.
No,
Well,
we're talking about weird things though. So
Yeah.
going back to Yucatan, that was probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Is especially with a lot of in the Mayan culture, what they'll do is, and it happens today, is they'll bury someone, a family member, and it'll be in like a smaller, like a metal box kind of thing. And they'll let them sit in there for, a few years, like 3 or 4 years or something like that. And they'll take them out and they'll clean up their bones and they'll put them in another box, like a wooden box for display.
That is something
And you
that
could
came
go,
up. Yeah.
you could go through, and I've been through some of the cemeteries there and you could see the display of the bones and stuff.
Really? So
Yeah, and annually they go through and they
So
kind
they're
of,
like out in the open, so a dog could
you
come up
could-
and take the
No,
bones.
they're
no,
in
it's
a
in a
box. It's in a
box.
box.
Well,
know.
how do you see the bones?
Probably a
then?
display, like a window or something like that.
What?
Some of them, yeah. And others are in like a very ornate, like colorful,
Like how rich you are type of thing.
headstone type thing, or yeah.
So that is called turning of the bones.
Oh, is that what they
And,
call it?
Yeah.
Okay, I-
Madagascar is one of the main areas where the deceased ancestors, every 5 to 7 years, they wrap the family wraps the remains in like silk shrouds or whatever, and then they spray them with perfume. And then they do these dances. I don't know if it's like hip hop or if it's, rap. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be hip hop and rap. Maybe a little country.
And so anyway, they celebrate their lives every 5 to 7 years and then leave. So, nobody's going to show up for me after 7 years. They're not going to show up today.
We ain't cleaning your bones.
You're not cleaning my bones.
No.
So, yeah, it's called turning of the bones. And it's funny that you experienced and you saw that.
Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah. Kind of interesting.
You would go past a cemetery there, and they're very colorful. And they're all most of them are above ground, and it's like a crypt kind of thing with a large headstone and writings. And you know how you kind of see the real festive colors on.
A lot of Spanish and Mexican colors are very, very bright and
very
vibrant and very colorful. And do you know why their burial places are above ground or very shallow?
Well, because they got to clean the bones.
No.
Probably because of the clay.
Because of the rock, because of the geographic location, and apparently that if you dig down very deep, you hit rock and stone and
rock.
Anyway, that's
so. With your travels, I know you've extensively traveled the United States.
Don't tell me that if I die somewhere else that you are not going to take the money and have me shipped back. You'll be talking to the operator.
We were just going to throw you in the ocean. But no, so way back when I decided to take off as a idiot teenager, you've been to New Orleans.
No, I've never been to New Orleans.
Oh, really?
Never.
I thought you had.
No, never been.
You're shitting me.
Nope. As a matter of fact,
so
your
I've
cousin,
seen something that you haven't.
You probably have.
So in New Orleans,
Nolans,
they have the jazz funerals.
I know.
I have witnessed one.
I think that would be kind of cool.
It was sombering, but really amazing to see.
I'll bet.
Like it was pretty cool. So anybody that's not been to Nolans, it's really a lively tradition where, it's very somber because of course they are mourning the death of someone.
Right.
But it's very upbeat. They do I call it a parade. I don't know what it's actually called.
A march, I think.
A march down the street with jazz music, live jazz music. They're not playing this off of a Beats by Dre music box that they're carrying. This is live jazz music that's being played as they're going down the street. They're dancing, it's very, very upbeat. And it's to send the deceased off with joy.
I think that's cool. That's a celebration,
it was
man.
Awesome. And I just happened across it. It was not anything that I had planned to go see or anything like that, but it was really freaking cool to see.
I'll bet.
I really thought that you had been down there.
No, I hadn't.
Crazy.
But New Orleans is, I think we have some listeners down there. But you got to work. There's that voodoo thing going on down there too. So we're not sure if they're celebrating or if they're, trying to bring them back.
Hey, either way, I'm with you.
Either way, it looks like, a great way to celebrate their life.
Absolutely.
Have you been to New Orleans, Dr. Domaine?
Yes.
And have you experienced such a thing?
No.
Like in the French Quarters or anything like that?
No,
I
focused pretty much on Bourbon Street during Mardi Gras. Yeah, it's time that
So
I
you
went.
were down there during
Tuesday.
Mardi Gras?
Uh-huh.
Were you down there during Mardi Gras, Bob?
I was.
I've never been to Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Never.
Let me tell you, back in late 90s, early 2000s, I would say
When you were running away from home?
When I was running away from home as an adult, it was pretty awesome. But would I go there now? No. But as an adult now in 2026, I don't know that I would go to Mardi Gras. It's not the same activities, culture type of thing that it is now. But definitely, I would go back to New Orleans.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What's so different about it now?
I think there's more criminal activity and
Yeah,
fights. And
it's more, I don't know. It's just different. It's not about the happiness and the celebration and come togetherness that they're really about down there now. It's more about the crowds and the how much can I drink and fight and, get into trouble, and you looked at me sideways and I'm going to shoot you and type of things.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it is a great city. It really is 99% of the time. But man, Mardi Gras has gotten really bad lately.
Well, there's other rituals, or what I would consider to be abnormal, but not really abnormal for these folks, different for me, rituals. And one is a ritual that is, or a rite that's in Indonesia. And as you knew, I traveled to the Philippines and Indonesia. It's called the Tanah Toraja region. This is so weird because I can't imagine how somebody would do this. Ed Gein,
Lord.
The deceased is kept embalmed at home and treated as if they're just merely sick for months or sometimes years, while the family saves money for an elaborate multi-day funeral ceremony. So, they keep them in a jar or something. I don't know what they keep them in, maybe in the easy chair or
maybe in the front parlor, they
make them into a lamp.
Wake. Well, prop them up in the chair, make them watch, daytime soap operas.
So you look at some black and white pictures from just, the turn of the century, and they took pictures of people sitting in chairs with their eyes still open, that were dead.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound bizarre. I remember going to funerals as a kid with my mom and dad, and they always took pictures of the dead in the casket.
Inside the coffin.
And it was
and even before that, way, way, way before that, they would have a lot of times, pictures were very expensive back then. And a lot of times the only time that they would have a photo of the deceased would be when they were deceased. And so they would, line up all the kids with the deceased person, and you could tell that which one was the deceased because the other ones would be a little bit blurry from moving, and the deceased would be, in focus completely because they didn't move.
So there were a lot of superstitions associated with that. Stopping the clock, of course, was just really to give a time of death. Covering up the mirrors so that their soul didn't escape through the mirror or get trapped inside the mirror. They'd close the windows, open the windows so that their soul could, go on its way.
Yeah.
So, here in the United States, there's some really, kind of, you think back, I know the Indians are Native Americans. First Nations, whatever you want to call. They call themselves Indians, just so you know. And they're proud of it. So let's just go with that. Anyway, they had several different types of rituals from, putting the body up on an elevated platform so it was closer to the gods and the spirits. They had several day type rituals where they would burn incense or burn, sacrificial animals and things like that.
Now, speaking of, having dead people in your home for a long time.
You want to go back to that?
In Indonesia, did you know that, and I'm going to slaughter the name of it, Manene? It's a centuries-old tradition where families periodically exhume mummified remains of their relatives. They clean them up, dress them in new clothes, and spend time interacting with them, grooming them, and posing for new family photos together.
Oh my gosh. So in those countries, there are still a lot of tribes, right? There's still a lot of tribal
Indonesia
rituals and things like that. And so do you think that's really happening in the big city? No, probably not. But I think
I don't know that they have a whole bunch of big cities. I mean, they have a couple, but not a whole bunch.
But I'm just saying that, those types of things might be things that are happening like we have here in the United States. And
why are they less likely to do it in the city?
Because I think that
Less
they've modernized.
westernization.
Yeah, they modernized, and they've kind of moved on from those rituals. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we have Indonesian listeners that can correct us on this. We're just going by some of the research we found for those particular regions.
Now, on the less weird end, of course, we have Dia de los Muertos. Dia de los Muertos. You know what that is?
What is that?
Day of the Dead.
Yes.
Yeah. Mexico, Latin America.
Yeah.
They don't actually dig up their dead. Thank goodness. But it is November 1st and 2nd. And Dia de los Muertos, they welcome back the spirits of the beloved deceased ones. And it's a brief reunion. It's said that is when the veil between the living and the dead is the thinnest. And so they build altars in their home, and they visit the cemetery to share food, music, memories, things like that. And it is also a celebration. It is not usually a very somber event. You know, they do have lively music, food, offerings, things like that to bring joy to their ancestors as they welcome them back and celebrate with them.
Interesting. And, you know, we can't find this to be surprising because we think about what some of the rituals were for the Egyptians, you know, what we find in some of those tombs and how they thought they were taking their horses with them or they thought they were taking their gold with them and they had to have that in their afterlife.
Well, they had to have it to pay to get across the river. I mean,
we had talked a little bit about the American Indians here, the American Native population, the sky burials. Well, in Tibet and Mongolia, the Buddhists and the Mongolians placed bodies on really high mountaintops so that they could decompose naturally and be consumed by vultures.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, you know, dust to dust and off you go. You know, now you're
a circle of life.
Circle of life.
Instead of being, you know, and I've never gotten that either, you know, where they use formaldehyde, you know, a highly toxic chemical. They're trying to, like, for some reason, preserve your body inside of a box, inside of a concrete box, inside of the ground. What are you preserving yourself for?
Yeah.
What are you? Who's digging you up in 50? You know what I mean? In 50 years, right? Like I don't want my skin worn. Like simmer down there, Satan.
Yeah.
I think
somebody's got a bracelet on. That looks like
Bobbi.
Bobbi.
The complete opposite. This is taking a turn. So the complete opposite.
Mother.
I've seen.
Gosh.
I'm gonna wait.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
That's Dr. Domaine.
I think the guy. I can't work with you two. I think the complete opposite. What is that? She's competing.
Oh my gosh.
The complete opposite of that is, and I've seen this before. I don't know how true it is, or I haven't seen it practiced, but they'll like bundle you up in like the root ball of a tree or something like that.
Oh yeah, the seed of a tree, and you grow into a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I think that's cool.
Yeah,
You
instead
know.
of pumping you full of all that stuff, they just kind of let you
It's basically turn
Naturally.
you into fertilizer.
nourish the tree.
Again,
Yeah.
you know, circle of life right there. So we only hear about, you know, things here in the U.S. like, I don't know, funeral directors who, you know, keep the bodies in their basement because family didn't pay for for the funeral.
Or they did pay and they squandered the money
and their
things like
bodies are
that.
still there. Because years ago, there was a case where, and I want to say it was in Detroit, that
There's been a lot of cases.
there have.
I think Cleveland, Detroit.
But they found them in the walls. They found the bodies in the walls and then they boarded them up.
What's the motive? They're just
They
too
don't wanna
lazy to
pay-
finish the process.
No, they take the people's money for the funeral, and then
Or the
or the
cremation.
family doesn't come for the bodies.
Yeah.
And they get charged or something like that, or maybe they don't get charged or they don't receive the money, and they hold on to the body and stick them in stuff.
Or they so what they do is they'll charge for the cremation. And instead of cremating them, because like, let's say they let their license lapse or their cremator isn't working to specifications, they put like, I don't know, concrete dust in the bag and give it to them as their family's remains.
And we know that cremation, you know,
What do they do with the body then? I mean, they're
They
not
put it
cute.
in the wall. They
Put it in the garbage.
Put it
I
in the
don't. I
garbage.
don't know
It
where
seems
they
like a
put
lot
it.
more work.
They had
than-
like
It
a
does.
whole
Put 'em in.
room of nothing but decomposing bodies where they just let them decompose.
That's what I mean. That's what some of the criminal cases have been, as it relates to
Yeah.
funeral homes.
They like dig a hole with a excavator and just put a bunch of bodies in it. And
It
then
is so
bury it.
bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just really bizarre. But can you imagine that you have a family and they don't show up to pick up your body? Have your body
mean,
done? I mean,
it's
if
not
you
gonna
don't have
bother
any
me.
relatives, that's one thing. But
You think I'm still in that body? No.
well, no. But you know,
Anyway, speaking
So-
of open air burials, you know
Open
what I
air?
saw? So, I watch a lot of documentaries
Yes.
and they're freaking weird. I'm going to be honest with you. My search history should be studied. The Tower of Silence. Have you heard of that? It's Persian. So they built this circular raised structure and it almost looks like a chalice, but with an open hole in the center. Okay. So it's
Okay.
like chalice shaped around the side, like a bowl almost.
okay.
And then it's kind of open in the center. And what they do is they put the deceased bodies like around the side of the bowl. Okay.
Okay.
And then they just let them go.
They let them go.
I got a vision of this water slide, You know the big bowl hole in the middle.
Yes, that's what it looks like.
I got a picture of a ride at the fair
Yes.
where it goes around and around and around, then
what
down
it
the
looks
hole.
like. And if you look at a picture, because they have overhead pictures of it with the bodies around it, because they're in different stages of decomposition. So like you have skeletal remains all the way up to fresh bodies, and it's like a color wheel basically. Okay.
You want to look at the
Listen,
kaleidoscope?
Listen, all due respect to these people, God love them, whatever. But it looks like if you watch the water park ads where it has that big bowl with the thing in the center, that's what it looks like. Or a bunch of people on a ride that spins. That's what it looks like. And maybe they spin a little too hard.
Hey, listen, no disrespect, folks. We're just
No
We're
disrespect.
just talking about this stuff, and we want our listeners to go look at this.
I want you to visualize this because it goes from like full skeleton all the way around up to like fresh body.
to somebody who just took
So
their last
I don't
breath.
understand. They just decompose.
So they
and then
decompose in the open. So like if birds
Okay.
come down or, wildlife, whatever, once they become bones, they just kind of like brush them into the center.
Does a carny come around with a stick and push some of the
Yes, it's like a push broom. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, going to hell for this. You know it.
I'm going to hell for a lot
I'd
more
hate
than
to
this.
have that job, man.
But so
some
they're
old carny with a
swept.
cigarette hanging out.
So they take a little broom, and once they're skeletonized, they just kind of sweep them into the center of this giant bowl thing, and then
Go through a blender?
The sun and the natural weathering, it just completes the decomposition, and they just kind of all
Oh my
are
god!
together.
Oh my
but it's called the
goodness.
Tower of Silence, and it's because they're just
They're silent.
they're silent. They're just decomposing up there, and the workers up there they just quietly
Where
go
is
and
this,
do their-
Bobby?
It's Persian, so Persia.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
we
Do
are
we want
in
to apologize to all of our
we do.
Persian
I already
listeners?
did. I said with all due respect.
all due respect. But what's interesting is we've been in 56 countries now, so our podcasts are getting around. And if we
55
have,
now.
55. I would say honestly, probably
I was gonna
52.
say, if we have any, we'd have to look to see if we have listeners in Persia, and we'd love
pretty
to
sure
hear.
we do.
We would love to hear from them. But oh my
But
gosh,
it's so cool to see because it's so different. But it's like, why aren't more people doing this? Why are we trying to preserve our bodies after we're dead? Why can't we just like grind us up and throw us to the soil? Like,
well, it's not really preserving them either, because after 100 years, somebody's going to come dig them up and go, "How did they die?" Let's
and what-
research
like,
that.
what-
Why
what's-
can't you just leave them alone?
what's the gap between like grave robbing and archaeology? Like, what's the time limit there? Because I'd like to know on that
That's
one.
a good question. I just don't understand these archaeologists. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know they're looking for stuff, but it's like, why can't you just let the dead be dead? and just leave them? Why?
Well,
why do you think you need to dig
okay,
all these people up?
Let's talk about this burial ritual.
Oh,
Speaking
no.
of letting the dead be dead. So in, what was it, 1995? Yeah.
That's
okay.
pretty recent.
So, well, I was only 15. 1995, they found the Ice Maiden. Do you remember that?
I don't.
The mummy Juanita.
Oh, was this in?
Think about
I'm
it.
trying to think here where it was in the
Peru.
Arctic. Oh,
Peru.
okay.
Okay, so she was the preserved body of an Incan girl who was sacrificed between 1440 and 1480.
Wow.
Okay, so she was between 12 and 15 years old when she died.
That's really not that long ago that people were being sacrificed.
Well, 1400 and
I
1480.
know, but you think about, biblical times.
I mean, they found her. This is why archaeology exists, because we find out more about our lineage and things like that. But she was found on the, I'm not even going to try, on this volcano. I'm not going to pronounce this at all.
Okay.
Near the border of Argentina and Chile. And the altitude was over 22,000 feet where they found her. So she was like completely frozen. And she was frozen in such a way that it was almost like she looked like she was still alive. Like she had just died recently.
Wow.
And anybody who remembers this knows what I'm talking about. If you don't, go back and look at these photos in this video, because it is so uncanny that she looks like she died the day before they found her.
So what
It's
that tells me
crazy.
is
Do you have
all
a
of these.
picture?
Yeah.
So
let's see.
okay, there goes Dr. Domaine. He's going down to the other end of the studio to see this picture. But it kind of just tells me that all of those salons where they do the freeze dried thing, where you get into the little air booths to get really cold.
Yeah, that's legit.
They
That's really weird.
must work on preserving you.
Like you can even see the crinkles in her hair where it had been braided and things. It's
pretty cool.
insane.
Well, there's other kind of what we would consider, just different. South Korea, they have burial beads due to the lack of cemetery space. Cremation is really highly favored there, according to the information that we looked at. And so some families have the have their
Lord
remains-
help her. She does the best she can with
with
the
what I
mouth
got.
she's got.
So they have the remains compressed into like jewelry. Well, they're doing that with dogs and stuff now. Have you seen that?
Well, they've been doing like diamonds and stuff with people. And
Well, it's like, okay, so your remains, you can have them in death beads is what they're called. And they're in really cool colors, or they can be stored in jars in homes and stuff. So that's South Korea. And you
so
mentioned the jazz funerals, and so that's there's different ways that people celebrate how we lived, how we died, just things that they want to remember. And then some people just don't want to remember family members at all, and they may not have been important to them. But if you have information, did you have any other ones, Bobby, that you wanted to share today?
The Smoking Dead
Oh, I saw that where they
from
put
the Philippines.
Yeah, the smoking or the cigarette wakes where they
They put a lit cigarette in their mouth, prop them up in the doorway, and we're like, "Hey!"
or
look
they
at-"
put the lit cigarettes in their hair.
Yeah, it's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
What's up?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Sarah,
You know,
over there, and she's
but that's
smoking.
become more common in the United States too, where they have, these funerals where the people are propped up. Or
I've never heard of that.
Like-
in the
Yeah, they
United
have.
States.
Yeah.
They've done that for years.
oh yeah,
Yeah, you look at these old saloon photos, and there's a guy standing there in the corner with the nickels on his eyes and the beer in his hand.
That's not
Yes.
That
true.
is totally true.
Oh, Google it. Yeah,
Look at the old
so-
Western ones. They put them out on
I'm
display
not
on
even
Main
talking
Street.
the Western ones. I'm talking about now. They have these where they will have it. It's almost like they have a party, and the person's up front in a chair, propped up, with the hat and the drink in their hand, and they're having a party around them like they're alive.
I think that is just so bizarre because
It's
the body
creepy.
stinks. The
First
body
of all, it's
stinks and
creepy.
starts to fall apart. And what are you going to do with that
That's
body
why they're
in there?
embalmed.
Did you know that there's also what's called fantasy coffins in Ghana, where, people view the funerals as not just a moment of grief, but a massive celebration of a life well lived. So they put them in fantasy coffins, which are like for the rich. You know what I mean? So that they're carved and painted to reflect the deceased profession.
Oh, they do
or
that here.
Their favorite hobby. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of what city we came through.
So wait, hold on. So they paint the coffins,
No,
or they decorate them?
they can build them that way. Like some coffins are
Like a
made
hot
like
rod.
a giant fish. Jonah and the Whale. I don't know, but
Like a
dad's-
hot rod.
My
or
dad's
a-
like a
coffin
hot
had
rod?
design on it. Yeah.
huh?
My
No,
dad's.
yeah, not a design. These are like
They look like a
they
hot
look
rod
like
and
a
they're
hot
being
rod.
buried.
Oh,
Yeah,
I gotcha,
like
I
a
gotcha.
kid's little car, bed.
Okay.
I don't know what they look like. I've never seen them, but we were coming through a city south, and gosh, I want to say it was by Louisville, and we were coming through there, and there was a funeral, and I kid you not, this carriage and all of these Cadillacs, they were the big old Cadillacs and stuff. And this carriage looked like it was, Victorian type. It was just huge and gaudy and whatever. And everybody was dressed all, I would say gaudy, but, just very Victorian.
Was it like
and,
by a plantation? Was it like
you
by
know,
plantations?
No, it was, we were in the city when we saw it. And I just thought, holy cow, that's different. That's just something that I don't see on a regular basis. But anyway, Bobbi, I think that's probably, but we do want our listeners to look these up. If you have something that you have seen, you have experienced, or you think you want for your burial or your funeral, let us know. Drop us a line, Bobbi.
Yeah, because I won't be having a funeral, so you're not invited. But
You don't invite people to a funeral. They just
Well,
show
good,
up.
because they're not invited.
Okay,
So
well.
you're
Oh,
not
my
invited to see
gosh.
me to get blown across Main Street
my
at
goodness.
Disney World.
We're just
So-
going to prop you up in a bar somewhere.
But that is all the insanity that we have for today. We do appreciate you joining us here at the Rabbit Hole Studio. Be sure to follow us because we look forward to spending time with you each week. Like us on your favorite listening platform, and if you have positive feedback for us, or if there's a topic you would like for us to talk about, drop us a short email at boomerandgenxer@gmail.com. But hey, if you have hate mail, well, you can bury that with
Or burn it.
or give it to the
Drop
vultures.
it in the pond or
we
put
don't
it on a
care.
high mountain somewhere.
But hey, until next week, I'm Bobbi Joy.
And I'm Jane Burt.
And you're stuck with us.
Peace out.
Later.